Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this special midweek episode of the Grappling Rewind Podcast, episode 85 and a half. There was so much jiu-jitsu this week, we had to break it up into two shows. So on this episode, we're going to recap Fight to Win 116 in Richmond, California. We are going to recap Midwest Finishers 2, and we're going to preview Subspectrum 8. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, with my co-host,
Emil.
How you doing, Emil?
I'm doing awesome, Maine. How's it going?
Doing good. So there's not a ton of news, really, because we've already covered it,
A couple days ago.
and I've been busy with other stuff, so I haven't seen any news. So do you want to get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So let's move into the recap for Fight to Win 116. This event paid at a total of $27,367 in salaries and commissions, and was headlined by Helton Jose Jr. defeating Tanner Rice via split decision.
Yeah. So this match, wow, man. About a minute and 45 seconds in, these gentlemen get into 50-50, and then they never let go.
No, come on. At the last 35 seconds, we got Rice going on some leg lock attempts, but
Helton went for a straight ankle lock.
Helton. It was from about the 8 minute and 15 mark left in the match till about the 30-second mark. These guys were in
nearly
50-50.
8 minutes of 50-50. Re-sweeping, grip fighting.
It was good 50-50 work, but it was...
Yeah.
It was not the Wagner-Hosha versus Tinquinho 50-50 match that we've seen before. It was a gi 50-50 match where the heel hooks aren't there. And I think it's like, dude, sometimes you get matches like this in the 50-50 where the heel hooks aren't there. The guys aren't really willing to kind of have that dangerous area where they pull out of the 50-50.
Disengage, yeah.
I think that's kind of what Erberth does in the 50-50. He kind of shoots that that jump
that's
over
what a lot of people, I don't know. It was... Yep, it was a match.
It was a slower match. So, on the co-main event, we had Marcus Torregrossa defeating Pete Shoemaker via decision.
And he becomes...
he becomes... Geez, it was on the line below. He becomes the Masters lightweight champion for Fight to Win, taking that over Pete Shoemaker.
We have Sean Nickmurad defeating Thomas Haley by decision. Jameson Cummings defeating Daniel Ripper by split decision. Nathan Mendelsohn defeating Nick Green by decision.
And that was Fight of the Night for the black belts.
So this was hilarious. Nathan comes out to his own trap music. They were like, oh yeah, Nathan's playing his own album, which was just, interesting choice of music.
You can't lose a match coming out to your own album. I think Anderson Silva came out to his son's song once. It's just that's a rough way to start, man. You gotta put up if you're gonna come out to a beat that you made yourself.
Absolutely. So this match was lots of open guard. Really
aggressive, snappy grips from Nick Green here.
Yeah, absolutely. Snap downs, some good throws and throw attempts. At one point, Nick Green goes for a low single and actually runs Nathan and the ref off the mat.
Well, he runs him off after the ref had already stopped, stopped the match, and it looked like both competitors were like, okay, we're gonna stop, and then Nick goes,
yeah,
I'm gonna get the single. I'm gonna push him off still. So because the ref's already moved out of the way at that point, I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, wait, did he not? I thought we both realized he stopped, and then he kind of lifts the leg back up and pushes him
and right
pushes
off
the ref off the stage. And then it's like, oh my bad.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a funny piece of the match.
Yeah, but lots of back and forth, exciting match. We have Adam Dunkel defeating Dom Hoskins by decision. Juan Cleber Souza defeating John Erlandson by toe hold.
And that was submission of the night for the black belts. And dude, what a fast toe hold.
This was fucking dope. So
this whole transition sequence at the end here was
awesome.
Really, really cool to watch. It was super dynamic.
Juan was in an kind of open, closed, and I will call it an open closed guard. So it's not a full open guard where your feet are in between you and the opponent. It's like your legs are around the opponent. It's just you've uncrossed your legs.
It's almost like a half guard kind of.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's just a closed guard where the legs are open, and he has two sleeve grips, and he does an awesome overhead sweep that initiates a scramble, but Juan is able to land on top.
And Juan ends up on top with his left leg over John's shin.
Right. So John is going, he's hooking in kind of dangerously because, Juan could have just shucked the legs underneath him and gone straight to mount, but he didn't do that. Instead, what he goes for the submission instead, and he grabs the leg for straight ankle, and he kicks his own leg over and starts doing sideways straight ankle lock. And
which is hard. Either he's on top, he's kind of hard to finish there in the position he was in.
Yeah, generally you want to either be. I think face down is the best.
We've seen guys finish it from that top side position, but when they do, it's their hips are super super close to the knee, and they finish it with all upper body, and it's just so hard. You got to be a stupid strong guy to finish it like that, especially at black belt level. They can just kind of wiggle out enough where they can stop it. And yeah, I think once you're belly down, you can kind of arch up away from the mat, and there's nothing stopping you there.
So Juan reads that, and he transitions amazingly to a toe hold. He just slaps it on, and you see John's foot just fucking fold in half. It was awful. This is exactly why I hate toe holds.
This is why like you and I are both kind of scared of toe holds, because it's like a wrist lock with a foot. Because we talked about this a little bit before we recorded. If the same principle applies. If your wrist is like floppy and someone just like pops your wrist in, there's like that joint can kind of get floppy. It's not under load. It kind of just holds the hand in place, and then when you flex the ligaments, you have some support there. The same thing kind of goes for that ankle joint, because they're anatomically very very similar. And so if you're not actively flexing the foot,
if you can't see the toe hold coming, it will hurt you. Yeah, it will hurt you.
I'm really surprised he didn't like limp off after this, because it looked like, I think he knew it was in, because it gets folded over, and the camera angle is perfect here, by the way. It gets folded over so fast and so far. It was, again, I think this match perfectly iterates why Emil and I are really scared of toe holds, because it goes from not being applied at all to be folded over completely and getting the tap in, what, a second? Maybe a second and a half?
It's quick. It's horrifying.
How do you feel about that, Emil?
Just dirty, man.
I also love that in the results it's listed as toe fold.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty accurate actually. So
because I think Seth lists it like that a bunch of, like, not infrequently in the results. You just hear toe fold.
Yeah,
it just folds over, and it was a disgustingly awesome toe hold that I really we watched this whole sequence like, I want to say 6 or 8 different times for recording to kind of talk about points we want to talk about, because the whole finishing sequence, like the change of position and like how dynamic it is just really, really cool to watch. Highly recommend you go back and watch this finish. It's cool. It's awesome. The camera's perfect on it.
Definitely submission of the night.
Oh yeah, deservedly for the black belts.
So then we have Mauricio Alonso defeating Renato Becerra by choke. Thiago Gaia defeating AJ Fonseca by rear naked choke. Igor Estrella defeating Guga Campos by decision. Gustavo Andrade defeating Jason Butcher by split decision.
On to the judo matchups.
We had an awesome match between Fabricio Silva defeating August Meissner, 2 Ippons to 1.
Dude, this is why I love a fight to win judo. Yeah. It's matches like this.
So first off, the ref was Seth in a neck brace, right? Like he's...
So Seth comes out, and you look like he has the hand brace on because he had the hand surgery, and he has the neck brace on because he had the neck surgery. But like he has the full cushion, like the head cushion you have in the hospital, like while reffing. And I'm like, I don't feel like this is safe. Like this can't be good for Seth.
Yeah, it was just something else. But so Fabricio gets a fucking beautiful ippon off the bat with a basic hip toss. This is the ogoshi. It's like day one jiu-jitsu throw.
It's like, day one jiu-jitsu throw, but it's one you never see hit because it's so hard to hit. Dude, his timing on how he enters this throw, the kazushi, the off-balancing with the hands, the way he gets his hips under, and he does it from like a lot of times you see it hit when guys kind of like squat down and get really low. He does it from like
upright,
full standing.
Yep.
And it's just the timing to hit a throw like this is absurd. And to sort of
and it's
watch
a violent throw too.
Oh my god, dude, he drives in, he lifts. So basically the ogoshi is that basic. It's not the harai goshi where you have the leg in front of both legs on your opponent. It's the hip throw where you just turn, you kind of go ass to hip bones on your opponent, and you just lift them over. And then you basically like jump into the air and get to land on them. And dude, he lands on him, and it like you see Seth look at them in the match and like give the ippon with a giant smile and like a face as well.
Yeah, it was an ippon for sure.
Beautiful technique, like great, golden throw. It was some slick shit, and why I love judo so much for throws specifically like this.
Yeah, so.
It's not over yet.
August responds with his own ippon that is remarkable. I had to watch this so many times to understand the mechanics of this.
And I argued with Emil about it because I was like, no, it's this throw like this. And Emil's like, no, it's not. And we paused the video and Emil was like, no, put your hand here. This is what he does. I'm like, oh, wow, that is a really nifty throw.
Okay, so imagine you're like standing facing the person and you get a cross sleeve grip. And then you take your free hand and you thread it for an underhook on that cross sleeve.
So your remember this, like it is a cross sleeve grip. It is not a same side grip. He has an opposite side underhook because he has a cross grip.
And then, well, no, he has same side underhook. He has a cross side grip. So
oh, my bad. Yeah. So
he loops it underneath, and then he does like a foot sweep on the side that he has the underhook, and he lifts that up, and then with the underhook, he switches it down to get like a single leg type thing, and then he just throws himself, and it's a huge slam to the mat. Like, and basically, it's sort of like a diving single leg, except with the cross grip and the underhook, it prevents any kind of guillotine or loop choke.
Any sort of choke, because you have the cross grip still. And again, I looked at it, I was like, why wouldn't this work in jiu-jitsu? And I went, I think it would. Like, there's no, I don't see a downside to this. It's just, it's going to be a hard grip to get, but it looks super weird when he sets it up because, like, you don't usually see people get the underhook on the same side whilst having the cross grip. And when Emil showed it to me and was, like, doing it to me, I was looking at this like, man, this looks really weird, but he nails it. And it's just a beautiful, like, throw that I don't recall if I've ever seen this throw before.
I've never
Especially
seen
in modern judo because you can't grab the legs like this.
I've never seen it. I'd be really curious to hear what the Japanese name for it is.
I'd be really curious to see if this was like a throw that was part of the meta before I started really watching more judo. Because again, he hits it like he's done it like a bunch of times before, and Seth usually gets more old school judo guys that were kind of around when leg grabs were still a thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if this was like part of the bigger judo meta, 10, 15 years ago. But I'm not familiar with it because I'm more familiar with like more modern judo after the banning of leg grabs. So I just haven't seen it as much.
Yeah.
But it's not even a throw I've seen in jiu-jitsu ever.
Yeah, definitely go see it. It's fucking awesome.
But the match isn't over yet.
So Fabricio is not content with having just had an opponent scored on himself. So he launches into a high goshi. And
pretty much immediately after the reset, too.
Yeah, after the reset.
Like,
you can tell he's like
that cool
fucking
throw.
pissed off. Yeah.
And then he just like throws in and just, instead of doing the Soto he did earlier, he basically just does the more traditional version, goes Hari Goshi on it, sweeps both legs across, big slam, gets up.
He did an Ogoshi earlier.
What'd I say?
You said a Soto.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Japanese. I need a little chart here with all the Japanese names.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still fucking learning them, man.
You are way better at the names than I am for Japanese.
It's because, like, the throws that I learned were through the Henzo guys, and they're pretty anal about using Japanese terms. So
yeah, they love those Japanese terms.
Yep.
Senkaku means triangle. I'm just saying. We could translate it.
So I guess we can move on.
Let's move on to the brown belt results.
Brett Byron defeating Carlos Capella by triangle. David Mitchell defeating Rich Flores by footlock. Jalen Hutchinson defeating Rich Storley by Kimura. Raquel Torres defeating Elaine Kreisner by knee bar.
And this was submission of the night for the brown belts. Another really nifty leg thing.
Yeah. So there's a fire alarm going on during this match and earlier.
That was so funny. Dude, it went on for a while, too.
Yeah, a long time, like in many, many matches. So, in this match, it's a great exchange. Raquel is an open guard, and Aline is like kneeling on top, and she grabs Raquel's foot for a straight ankle, and then like kind of like knee bar. She's like starts working on it, but she's very far away and loose, and Raquel senses this occurring, disengages, inverts over Aline's far leg, and attacks a belly down knee bar and gets the tap. It's a fucking slick attack.
Dude,
like
the whole sequence is really cool as well. We had two matches on this card that were submission of the nights that were kind of really interesting entries to leg locks.
Yeah, and I particularly love the like, oh, you're gonna fucking leg lock me? No, fuck you. I'm gonna leg lock you. Like it's like a
spitefulness of
it's
the
a
leg lock.
dueling. Yeah, it's like a quick draw. Like who's the fastest?
It's kind of why we like the shootout position for like heel hooks, where both guys. It's like, all right, who's gonna get it first? And I love it when it's those mirrored ones where it's like both guys are worried about it, and you're like, someone's gonna get nervous first. That's why it's called the shootout. But like those, anytime you get to dueling leg locks, dueling toe holds, dueling knee bars, like any of that, it's really interesting. This entry was super cool though.
Yeah, it was awesome, and like I still am not totally sure on the mechanics of it, though I've watched it like numerous times. It's just a really beautifully timed kind of like inversion to the far leg. So
it was super slick.
Yeah.
Deservedly fight of the night for the brown belts. Not a ton of brown belts on the card in general, but like, yeah, deservedly fight of the night.
Yep. So then we have Renato Valente defeating Stefano Gomez by armbar. Joey Taylor defeats Muni Munoz by decision.
And that was fight of the night for the brown belts.
So Muni is in half guard like off the bat, and it's honestly like 3 minutes and 30 seconds of Joey on top half, on back control, and crushing side control. And then like Muni's able to open the guard up briefly, and Joey lands up on his knees in saddle position with a straight ankle grip. He goes belly down while Muni goes for a toe hold, and that's how the match ends. So it's also kind of like a leg lock shootout with Joey going for the straight ankle lock and Muni going for the toe hold there.
Yeah,
so
pretty straight decision. It was like was a relatively close match, but I think the decision here is definitely warranted. I think Joey just had more on top, had significantly more control for longer stretches of the match, especially in like the half guard and like the top, also the top positions there. And I think he also throws up more sub attempts, so I think it's deservedly, a good decision.
Yep.
On to the purple belt results.
So we have Norman Aaron defeating Tim Principal by split decision.
And that was
by split decision.
And that was fight of the night for the purple belts.
And
he becomes I'm messing up today. He becomes the fight to win purple belt middleweight champion.
So Amir Lacey defeats Raul Scott by decision. Victor Tai defeats Arvind Gupta by flying triangle.
And that was submission of the night for the purple belt.
So this is kind of cool. Like, it starts off with Victor going for a flying scissor takedown.
Hold on, I'm going to stop you. When is a flying triangle submission ever not cool?
Well, I mean, like,
the whole series to get there was cool.
Yeah, like, it started off with a flying scissor takedown, and the match is like, stand up going back and forth. And at one point, they're both collar tied, and Arvind starts doing like a really low lean in order to like get closer to the level change to make that easier for a takedown. And Victor reads it, and he doesn't do, I don't call it like a flying triangle. It's like a hand post triangle, which
it's like that pull, like the low pull triangle, basically.
Yeah, well, it's like off of the, like, he's leaning off of his arm that's posted up, so it looks like a breakdancing flare if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it's like I think that's the best way to describe it. It's like a breakdancing triangle. You're still up, you're still kind of supported, but you swing your hips up to get there, as opposed to like jumping off the mat.
Right.
You're still kind of supporting your body, but I think the hips are flying here. Like it's not just a standard like guard triangle. You're still up in the air, so I see why you'd call it a flying triangle.
Well, yeah, up in the air, but his hand is touching the mat. So
just the hand is touching still makes it a flying triangle.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really fucking cool. We have Ricardo Campos defeating Pablo Sanchez by triangle. Mike Paris defeating Osvaldo Amazonas by decision. Efren Ilescas defeating Michael Clark by decision. Joshua Cha defeating Ian Sulcer by cloverleaf.
I love Texas cloverleaf. We saw one of those at SAGC this week too.
Absolutely.
Like those are awesome submissions.
We have Tyler Shue defeating Brad Shemlick by split decision. PJ McGrain defeating Anthony Arnold by split decision. Ivan Gomez defeating Handsome Lee by decision. Chris Vickers defeating Andy Russo by inside heel hook. Cherise Apostol defeating Lauren Sachs by decision. Suzanne Leong defeating Jamie Gomez by triangle armbar.
And that was submission of the night for the purple belts.
Nick Pica defeats Anthony Mercado by Kimura.
And on to the kids matches.
Jared Perez defeats Jonathan Mazursky by triangle. Sierra Fawn defeats Coco Castillo by choke. Rachel Cedillos defeats Rain Nobla by split decision.
And that was fight of the night for the kids.
Legend Kuti defeats Aiden Mass by Kimura.
And that was submission of the night for the kids.
Ariel Thomas defeats Tony Sanchez by decision. Jolene Sunga defeats Alexandra McCarty by split decision, and Joao Nascimento defeats Joel Sunga Jr. by rear naked choke.
Dude, it was a really cool event, and the venue is really cool as well. Like, I really enjoyed the way the venue was laid out. Like it had a ton of light for the majority of the event. A ton of light was coming.
Glass walled hangar or something.
I know Fight to Win has done stuff in places. I thought it was Seattle. They did a place called The Hangar, but it might have been this venue. They had one venue that had honestly they choose really cool venues a lot of the times. They had one that was like a bunch of pillars, but this one I really enjoy, like really really bright events.
Yeah,
like I enjoy that, and so they had this giant wall of natural light coming in for the majority of the matches, and I think it just makes like it. I just always appreciate that. Like it's just more. You can never put enough light on a match for me, and so it was sweet. Really cool event. Really cool venue. love fight to win.
Yeah.
So moving on to the recap for Midwest Finishers 2, we're going to talk about the a couple matches, but mainly the final match between Alan Sanchez and William Tackett. This is for the Midwest Finishers 170-pound belt for the title.
This is just like, I think Tackett's still like a blue belt, right?
I think he's a purple belt. His brother's a blue belt.
So
Andrew Tackett is a blue belt.
It's just amazing the proficiency that like purple belts have now.
And he competed the day before on Third Coast and won at Third Coast.
Yeah.
So you went from Texas, you flew your ass to Chicago, and you won in Chicago as well.
Yeah.
I think he also won the belt at Third Coast as well. So like literally he won 2 different promotions championships one day apart.
Yeah.
In completely different areas of the country, different states, a flight away. Like, that's some Craig Jones level of traveling.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. He looked completely comfortable. Like, the pace of this match was like, it felt like flow rolling, but that's not the bad kind. Like, it was really beautiful jiu-jitsu.
It was like that flow rolling you see right before, like, major tournaments where guys are still, like, they're going super hard, but, like, there's like a fluidity to all the positions they move through.
Right.
Where
And
it's like guys can just like get in and out wherever they want.
In and out, and like they're not fighting every single millimeter of like, you know, of space and of like grips and all that stuff. It's like they see that their opponent has gotten somewhere, and rather than fighting that, they just change tack and go to a different place. So it's really awesome jiu-jitsu to watch.
It shows like a diversity of skill too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm comfortable in all these positions. So like if I lose in this spot, like I'm not necessarily, you know, against. I can go to the next position. I go to the next position. And you saw each guy willing to fight their opponent in a different phase.
So the end sequence of this was just gorgeous. Like basically William is in a knee shield half, and he takes his knee shield leg and he pummels it across and over and inverts, so that he is now inverted saddle on the far leg. And
he does it like almost like Paul Harris style. And Paul Harris, whenever he makes his leg lock transitions, tends to get really, really flat on his back. Like you can watch him versus in the Alan Belcher fight. He basically he does like a split drop to the heel hook attempt in the Alan Belcher fight off the cage. And like William Tackett does a really similar, like not entry here, but that same style of like falling directly back and using your momentum to transition to the position you want, like with a flat back. And it's really, really cool. It's kind of Imanari style, but a little different.
So, yeah, he's attacking this leg, and he, you know, Alan is obviously like worried about the heel hook and starts defending it, and William is totally cool, just starts attacking the other leg that is not saddled. You know, going for an outside heel hook on that, and it's just one of those like, just it's the meta for the leg game has gotten so amazing. Like the attack trees or whatever you want to call it of moves that you can do are so, you know, huge now. There's so many options to go.
It's before I feel like there was a couple paths you could take towards like, okay, you do this, you get a heel hook, you have like Imanari style heel hooks, you have like these guys style heel hooks, you have like Dean Lister style heel hooks.
Well,
you have,
it always
traditional.
like it would like dead end with the heel hook, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you get to the heel hook and that's what you do. And now it's like, oh no, like if they defend this way, you can switch over to the other leg, you can tangle them up, you can
Like it's like the hips in the metagame got way more active, where it's like like you said, there's no longer a dead end at those spots. There's more like, okay, like it has become another spot in jiu-jitsu that you can do other jiu-jitsu from, as opposed to like you've got you get the submission or like you're stuck here. It's like, no, well, I get the submission or you defend it, and then we keep doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. It's just amazing. So actually, to Alan's credit, he's able to clear the knee line and escape this, and William just does another entry, but this time he grabs the leg and pulls in for a deep knee bar, and he just gets the tap.
I watched this. I love YouTube because they have different play speeds. So you can play stuff at like double speed, or you can play stuff at quarter speed. And so I watched this entire entry. And this is more sort of the Paulo Harris entry here with the flat back, and he lays back for this. You can watch him like pummeling his legs and pummeling his hands, and as he lays back, you can see William like you can see him sort of setting up the knee bar, but you can see Allen has his foot in the way on like the crook of William's, the back of his knee, and you can see William like trying to hop off the foot to get his leg far enough away, like in a splits position, in order to come across and like clear Allen's foot, because if he can clear it, then he can get the knee bar. He hops it off, and you see him scoot both his hips and his legs into place, and then do like 2 little readjustments, and then boom, finish with this beautiful behind the back knee bar.
Yeah.
And I like this knee bar because it's one of those knee bars, kind of like a violent arm lock, where you're submitting the joint in free space. You don't have like the joint necessarily on your hips. You have it not the knee itself is uncontrolled. You just have the top end and the bottom end to get it, and it's just always a really beautiful submission to see.
Yeah.
So, his brother also gets the win on this card as well. He wins his match by rear naked choke. Again, both these brothers, like, there are so many brother combos right now. Like
Yeah.
the Rotolo twins, the Meow brothers, like the Mendez brothers, like the Tackett brothers, like the Ryan brothers.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about just constantly having a training partner, having that drive, and if you are a sibling and you're living with your sibling, then like there's way less of the like, I'm going to take some time off. Like they push each other,
Because your brother's going to get better and then beat that ass.
Right, exactly.
My brother texted me yesterday about, it was a picture of him, and I think he's in San Diego right now, and he's like, I picked up boxing again, and it's a picture of him making like a getting punched in the face. He goes, I'm really out of shape.
Yeah.
And so it was really funny because my brother can whoop my ass in boxing, but if we're doing jiu-jitsu, like I can whoop his ass. So like I totally get it, and that sibling rivalry I think like helps all these guys grow. Again, we see so many like siblings in jiu-jitsu like at a high level. It's super cool. There's got to be something to that.
The Vieira siblings.
Both of them are world champions.
Yep.
Baby and Hidalgo.
Musumeci.
And both current. I can't believe I forgot them.
Yeah.
Like, Tammy and Mikey are both siblings.
Yep.
Both current 2019 IBJJF world champions.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Meow brothers are basically like 2019 IBJJF world champions because they closed out their bracket together. Like, yeah, it's good. It's good to have jiu-jitsu siblings.
Yep, absolutely.
That's really weird. I never realized how common that was.
Yeah, we're starting to see it a lot more. And then even more locally, like the Chiguero brothers, really excellent at judo and jiu-jitsu as well. So
yeah, it's good. I never realized how much of how common that was in jiu-jitsu until I kind of just went through all of the brother combos. I think that'd be a really funny article to
and
do.
brother sister, yeah.
Right, brother sister, sibling combos. Not necessarily brother combos, but sibling combos.
Yep.
So great event. The whole thing is up on YouTube. You can find it on the Midwest Finishers YouTube page. The finishes are I think at like 3:46. Is you can watch Tackett's whole sequence here, and it's a really fun event to watch. Fun commentary, and just again these guys put on a really fun show. And the Grappler Union podcast I think partially supports that as well. So shout out to them.
Hell yeah.
So on to our preview of Subspectrum 8. This event is going to take place, I think, on Saturday, but it's going to be uploaded on the Subspectrum YouTube page on Sunday. So get some Sunday jiu-jitsu in there as well. This event features 2 brackets. It features a male absolute bracket and a women's nogi 125-pound bracket. So you're going to start, Emil.
The women's 125-pound bracket, we have Alana Ray, Michaela Jones, Katya Leontьeva.
She's really fucking good.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm blanking on where we've last seen her, but I know we either covered a match of hers or like she was in something really recently, and it's killing me because I cannot remember what she was in.
We have Amanda Bruce, Joni Chamberlain, Kristen Campbell, and Miranda Maverick.
And in the men's nogi absolute bracket, we have Aaron Harris, Anthony Pachak, we have Austin Baker, we have Brian Patterson, we have Carlos Carlson, we have Chris Feldman, we have Derek Flagg. Oh shit, Derek Flagg's in here. He's the we covered him a little bit ago because he had the fastest submission. I want to say it like on at 7 or like a while back. We have John Hansen, we have Jordan Holy. We just saw Jordan Holy at Third Coast.
Yep.
Versus Marvin Castile, and he was able to get it done in overtime there. So we have Mario Gomez, we have Mike England, we have Nate Howell, we have Mike Makayev, and we have Konstantin Kavanos. So this looks like a fun event, dude. Subspectrum always has some really cool production, so I'm really happy that they're putting it up on YouTube, even if it's after the fact, so because it doesn't really affect me at all.
Yeah,
I get to watch it anyway.
A lot of stuff that I have to watch like a day or two afterwards.
Oh, yeah, honestly, a lot of what we cover is after the fact anyway, so it doesn't really like. I'm actually happy that it comes out on like a Sunday, so I can watch it then.
Yes.
I'm like, sweet. I don't have an obligation to watch it live. I can like sit back, it gets uploaded, I can watch it, I can go through, take notes. I'm not gonna get something spoiled for me because I can watch it like live basically when it comes out.
Yeah.
Actually, I might get shit spoiled for me because people are at the event. I realized that it does not happen in like a microcosm, a vacuum. So that does it. So that does it for episode 88.5, the midweek episode, because there was too much shit to cover on 85. These are really hard to do, Emil.
Yeah.
These midweek episodes. I realize that there's a shitload of grappling, and there's a reason we made the team bigger, and I need to get a new mixer that has more mics so we can bring more people on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely exploded. So, good to split it up.
Yeah, I think I'd much rather honestly do them in one show, but occasionally I think we've done a couple 80 like 0.5 episodes. We did one with Matt where we previewed a bunch of stuff because the previews for stuff wasn't out, and then we've done I think we've done some bonus episodes.
Yeah, I think the first one that I did was a bonus episode, right?
I think the first one you did was 41. I think it was you and Ryan came in and did. I
could have sworn I did
Quintet.
Maybe, yeah.
And then we did a bonus episode like really shortly after
that's
that.
what it was, yeah.
And then you kind of came on as the main co-host.
Yeah.
And then it's been we did another bonus episode, the Outliers episode, and then pretty much been running from there. Dude, we're getting close to 100 episods here.
Yeah, man. I'm sneaking up on it.
I don't know what we're going to do for 100 episodes. Someone was like, you should give away a gi. And I was like, yo, please calm down. Like Mr. Moneybags. I just want to give away a gi, but put grappling rewind patches all over it. So it's like, enjoy this gi.
Yeah, yeah. We'll do a grappling rewind tattoo competition. So
Jesus, please do not.
We'll get a face tattoo.
Please do not get the grappling rewind tattooed on your body. Dear God, if you listen to the show at all, please do not do that to yourself or to us.
Actually, Josh would do it. Josh
you think he would?
Oh, you don't know this? Josh Weinstock has a ongoing, to this day, like agreement that he will get any tattoo that you are willing to pay for.
Are you serious?
Yeah. That's why he has so many terrible tattoos.
I thought that was just because he's a terrible person.
No. He's had a bunch. So
Are you serious?
Yeah. Josh has it's not a terrible tattoo, but he has a little cartoony Sakuraba on his thigh.
That's an awesome tattoo.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly like one of his better tattoos that's more awesome. It's like
he's
a really
got a
cool
Shoyoroll tramp stamp.
Do you want to talk about that?
What is there to say about that?
I feel like he's brought it up on the show like begrudgingly like one time. He's like, I don't like that tattoo. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, he has some terrible tattoos, but he also has some like great. He has like a big tattoo of Barf from Spaceballs.
Oh yeah,
on his
right.
leg. He's got some Harry Potter tattoos. He's got like that dude is tatted up.
Yeah.
With some crazy ass tattoos.
If we fundraise, we can get Josh to get a grappling.
Dude, I do
rewind.
not want to do that to him.
Why? It'd be hilarious.
It would be, but then like when this show gets terrible, eventually when we get old, like he still has that.
That doesn't fucking matter.
That's not gonna matter.
No.
So yeah, do not get a grappling rewind tattoo. Look out for. We're gonna be posting a bunch of other highlights this week, so look out for that. We're gonna do some stuff for maybe best finishers. We're gonna do some stuff for SAGC. So keep looking out for that. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff to your friends. And anything else, Emil?
That's it.
All right. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, with my co-host,
Emil.
And we are the Grappling Rewind. We'll see you on the mats. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.